to the Invisible Man Show with me, Stephen. This is a midweek roundup, really. We're going to touch on a bit of transfer news that's been coming up over the last couple of days, and also have a quick look back on the Premier League weekend, because I want to start by touching on United versus Arsenal on Sunday. I watched the vast majority of it. I missed 10 minutes making me dinner, but generally I watched a lot of it. And I think United have lost their minds. From the manager saying this defeat shows we can beat anyone, which is quite the bizarrest sentence I've ever heard in my life, to Gary Neville saying they're the best team, they're the better team and deserve to win, to social media outlets from United fan groups talking about how they deserve the penalty and should have won, etc. The reality is they played like a team who knew they weren't as good as the other team. They closed down, they got stuck in, they were physical, they threw the ball in the box every chance they could. They didn't really create much. They didn't really have any, when you could take a deep breath and a good opportunity to finish. There was none of that. It was just a bit of hair them, scare them, loz it into the box and see how it goes. I mean, they've got two strikers who they've bought, Cunha and Mbeumo. I mean, yeah, they were better than what they had last year, but is that it? Is that the standard, is it? To be better than whoever it was, Garnacho and Højlund, and a disinterested Rashford? Is that the standard? Because I'll tell you what, yeah, obviously, they're going to finish, I say obviously, I expect them to finish higher than 15th, but not much higher given that going. They played like Wolves did. They played like Leeds would do. They played like Sunderland would do. They got stuck in and they tried to whip the ball in the box. I know they had more possession, and I know that, and Gary Neville found that particularly interesting. Arsenal were in front after 13 minutes. Widely accepted that was one of Declan Rice's worst performances for Arsenal. Mendy took a whack in the first 5 minutes and didn't really settle down after that. The forward looked like a pub player. But Arsenal scored after 13 minutes and then sat in like they tend to do. United didn't really do anything, did they? Outside of lump it in the box. But we should be used to that by now. But listen, if their manager keeps coming out with these sorts of statements, and I think he's going to be a good laugh again for however long he lasts this season, which I don't think will be particularly long. Like I said yesterday, like I said at the weekend, he's Ten Hag in a nice coat. He's a bit smoother on the PR, but he talks too much and doesn't do much talking on the pitch. I think he's a clown, quite frankly. But yeah, that's enough of them. Anything else over the weekend? Chelsea dropped points home to Palace. I say drop points against Palace. Palace can do that to anyone. They beat us in the cup final. We drew with Arsenal towards the back end of last year. They were a good outfit, Palace, and they know what they're doing. But Chelsea looked, I only saw the last 15, 20 minutes, but they didn't look very urgent to try and get the winner. I'll be honest. And I know that some of the fans have had complaints about the urgency in Maresca's teams. Be interesting to see how that goes. West Ham got hammered at Sunderland. I watched some match of days like they gave up. So I'm disappointed in Potter, really. I thought he'd be doing much better there, but he's not, is he? He's not. They've got Jarrod Bowen and, well, not much else, really. But, I like West Ham, though. I've been to that ground a couple of times, so hopefully they'll pull the finger out one way or the other and get things going. Okay, right. So we'll start with City's transfer. We'll move on to City's transfers. We'll do the bit of low-key ones first. Naipan has gone on loan to Borough. He's a Norwegian guy that we bought in the summer who's highly sought after by a variety of clubs, by all accounts, which makes his loan to Borough a little bit surprising. Well, certainly surprising for me. City don't have really any links with Borough. Middlesbrough's a long way from Manchester. I thought it'd been a bit more kept at home in sort of the Dutch teams we got linked with, the French teams we got linked with. I don't want to say the old joke about Girona, but, they could have been an option. But Middlesbrough in the Championship, I think that's a funny one, considering the hype he was getting. Middlesbrough, I mean, they're not even that good in the Championship, are they? And there's a tough league, that. So, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on and how he copes with the physicality. And, listen, if he can stamp his mark on that league, like, players that we've had in the past have done, like Morgan Rogers and people of that nature, then it could be a good grounding for him. But it could go the other way as well, couldn't it? If he doesn't fancy it, but, if it's that level too soon. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on this coming season. Echeverri looks like he's going to Leverkusen to play under Erik Ten Hag, giving Mad Eric one of the key key youth players we've got to say, right, off you go develop him. Seems a bit of a risk on the face of it, but he went a bit mad at United, didn't he, old Eric? But he did have a very good Ajax team, which got to the semis of the Champions League, whatever it was, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, with a lot of youth players in it, De Ligt and, goodness me, the rest of them escape me now. But, there was a fair, Van der Beek, how can we forget him? That £90 million player United bought for 40 million, as that guy off Sky said. But yeah, so Echeverri to Leverkusen. It's a good level. Like I said, Eric Ten Hag's a good record with youth players. So again, another one to keep an eye on. Again, if you can do it in Germany at a high level, then it'll be it should be a good grounding for him, and hopefully then he can return to us next year with some good experience. And by that time, hopefully the squad will have cleared out a little bit more, and there'll be room for him. Yeah, I think Leverkusen as well is a bit better move than Girona. I don't think Girona is a particularly high level, is it? Not many people seem to do well there and come back and do anything. And Roma, they were belly aching about a buyback clause. They also have a pretty strong midfield by all accounts, so man will be guaranteed to get in to start with at least. So, yeah, Leverkusen, I think it's a good move. German football, it's good. I go over there and watch it a couple of times a year. I think if he's as good as technical as he looks, he should be okay over there, and hopefully this year will do him the world of good. Manuel Akanji said on Sunday that I thought he would be the one to watch, to go, and then lo and behold, yesterday came out Galatasaray are interested in him. I mean, I don't know if Galatasaray are aware, but they do have to pay for players. They can't just say they're interested and hope, we just exchange documents. So there's some funds that need to exchange hands. So we'll see how this goes. According to Fabrizio Romano earlier on today, he said it's a player's decision whether he wants to go. I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's blindly obvious, isn't it? If the players he wants to go to Galatasaray and they cough up some dough, it's City are likely to accept. I mean, we're a bit, I think we're a bit heavy in terms of numbers in defence. But then you've got to take into account the injury record of Stones and Ake. But I think that's a risk we can take, because you've got Kusanov there, Ake, Guardiola, Diaz, Stones. I mean, you can't have players in case other players get injured. You need to move the injured players on or take the risk, because we've got him three years ago for 15 million quid. He looked great when we bought him the first couple of years. Fell off a little bit, and he has been a bit weak, hasn't he, at times. I still consider him a major part of Kusanov's era and Kusanov's debut. I thought Akanji should have just cleared the lot rather than leaving it to some 19-year-old on his debut. But I think he's generally been good for us. But I think if we can get a half-decent price, and by half-decent, I mean double figures, anything over 10 million, I think is something I'd accept, get the wages off the books, and then it clears space. Another foreign player that doesn't need to be registered. And I don't think you can go around saying to these players, "Stay if you want, but you won't play in the Champions League." It's not a great starting point, is it? So I think City should make some effort to move him on and come to an arrangement with Galatasaray. Of anyone, really, anyone who's gonna stump up the money, but it seems Galatasaray are the ones that are interested. And then last night we had some funny information from Guillaume Balaguer, didn't we, of La Liga Revista fame. I'm not quite sure what he's doing now, really. Outside doing bits and pieces for Sky. He said that the Savio deal's off. Someone high up at the club has blocked this move, and it's not happening now. I think. I don't know. I find it very hard to believe that Pep Guardiola has basically nailed his colours to this kid's mast and said, he's the man. He's not going anywhere. We're keeping him. I find it very hard to believe any executive is particularly interested one way or the other, whether Savio goes or not, as long as the money's right. And I think that's where it comes in. The deal is someone's blocked the deal. Well, of course they block the deal. If the money's not right, if someone wants to buy my house, I'll block the deal until they cough up what we're looking for, at least in what range of what we're looking for. 60 mil was rejected over the weekend, according to reports. I think that's good dough. I'd have taken that. Obviously, City might be concerned about structures and add-ons and things of that nature, but I think if Spurs come back with another bid, because I don't think it works like this, does it? I don't think you bid twice and then go, oh, actually, he's not for us, or we can't make that deal, we can't stretch that far, and City go, all right, then let's call it a day. Because I think it's going to go one way or the other with this guy. I think it's going to be really, really good, or we're going to regret not taking this money this time next year. And I'm on the Take the money, take the 66. If you get 66 mil, take that, and then if he comes good, he comes good. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But we've got a potential replacement in Rodrigo lined up. Again, is he a world beater, Rodrigo? I don't know, but he's got to be an upgrade, hasn't he? He's got to be an upgrade. And with Madrid playing tonight, away at Osasuna tonight, it should be interesting to see what his role is, if he has any at all. With Donnarumma last weekend, basically booted out of the squad and told, we don't have anything to do with you. I'm not sure that's going to be the case with him. They are going to try and achieve the value they want of 100 million euros. They're not going to do that in a market of one when you've booted the player out of the squad. I expect he'll be on the bench and he'll come on and he might score, he might not. He'll rumble on for another week and we'll see how it goes. But I think City have got a problem here. And it comes on to Ederson as well. Pep saying he's our keeper, he deserves respect. He's this, that, and the other. Whilst he is, like I said, I'm biased because I've met him once, and I will show that signed shirt one day. So you do believe me. That we hang around with the Savio stuff, and this coming week, Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool have trouble scoring, and there's a bloke over there sat in Madrid who is available for transfer. And they pull the trigger, and we're sat there. And then along comes a massive bid for Savio that we can't turn down. So we sell Savio and don't have a replacement. So we're in the sort of worst of both worlds, really. And I think that could apply to Ederson and Donnarumma as well. City seem adamant they want this valuation realised on Ederson. This is going through reports, and I do understand that there's a transfer industry, and I do understand that we have blow by blow, day by day, sometimes hour by hour accounts of what add-ons are and who wants what club and what club wants who and all that. So it is all taken with a pinch of salt. I get that. I'm going to caveat that straight away. But I think with Ederson, I think we just need to tell Galatasaray, listen, because he's got 1 year left of his contract. He's going anyway. So anything we can get for him is decent money within reason. 10 million or something is decent. And then you go and buy and you go and action Donnarumma, because again, this coming weekend is highly likely, or at least in the realms of possibility, that Chelsea or Arsenal's first choice goalkeepers will make 2 more cock-ups, in which case they've got a decision to make. Do we, as in being Chelsea or United, pull the trigger on Donnarumma? The price is out there, more or less. His wage demands will be out there, more or less. If his agent's talking to City, if we're talking to other people, I find it inconceivable, quite frankly, that he's not talking to anyone but City. I mean, I think that'd be negligent, quite frankly. So yeah, I think I can see Rodrigo ending up somewhere else, Donnarumma ending up somewhere else, and us selling Ederson and Savio anyway. Now, hopefully that's not my City normal pessimism coming into matters, but I think it's something we need to consider, that these players. Rodrigo is a Brazilian international, hopes to go to the World Cup. It's now the 19th of August. Donnarumma, the World Cup's probably not a problem for him. He'll probably get in anyway. But what we're going to do is tell him to hang on. I'll just hang on. We'll wait for Galatasaray to pony up another 2.5 million or whatever it is. It seems like it doesn't like right. It could be seen as serious in one respect, that we want to realise our valuation. But also, if you're telling potential people that you really love them, you really want them, you really want to be part of this team, but we just need Galatasaray to pony up an extra 2.5 million, and we're just waiting on Spurs. It doesn't sound a great message, does it? If City think if these incoming players are an upgrade on the potential outgoings, I think they should pull the trigger and do it before the weekend, and that's it, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, we might overpay a little for Donnarumma and underpay and not receive and receive a little less than we hope for Ederson, a little less for Savio, but there's a cost of doing and a cost of not doing. And the cost of not doing at the moment is City lose Ederson after the English transfer window shuts because he doesn't want to be here, and we just sell him anyway. Oh, we've got Savio around here who we reject for 60 million quid, and he's unhappy and isn't delivering like he didn't last year. Whilst we've got 2 potential upgrades sat at rivals potentially, where I think there's a cause for concern. But I think overall the transfer strategy has been good, and it might be because the season started and we're getting a bit twitchy about players in and players out. But no, I think it'll be all right in the end. I do think we'll end up with Donnarumma. I'm less sure about Rodrigo, because I think the money to get Savio out of City would be a club record bid, a club record transfer for Tottenham, and I don't think Savio has a CV to be the club record signing for Tottenham. But then again, did Dominic Solanke, and they bought him. So did Richarlison, and they bought him for 50 million. So you never know. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And yeah, goodness me, where's that 60 minutes gone? Yeah, so we'll wrap up here. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And you can find me at spricey32 at Blue Sky. I don't do Twitch. I don't really know what that is, actually. And I don't do Twitter anymore. So it's Blue Sky or YouTube for me. So yeah, please like, share, and comment, and hit the notification bell. And I'll be back with a preview of the Spurs game. I'll do that I might do it Thursday and release it Friday. I don't know. I'll see how the week goes. But thanks a lot, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care.